All right, it's official. We're recording.
Woo.
Well, I won't talk too long, but I just wanted to welcome everyone to our December town hall. We are incredibly lucky to have two wonderful guest speakers with us, Kenzie and Meghan. Meghan is our director of campus and residence life. So I met Meghan personally when I went to Cottey seminar a couple years ago, and you do not forget her when you first meet her. So we have kept in touch, and I am very excited that our paths are crossing again. And I'm going to pass this off to her to introduce us to Kenzie and take it from there.
Gorgeous. Thank you so much, Kathleen. I feel very similarly about Kathleen, and I'm always excited to get messages from her on Instagram and things like that. So I'm excited to be with you guys today. As Kathleen said, my name is Meghan. I'm the director of campus and residence life at Cottey. So housing is my specialty. I also work with campus activities, and then I'm one of the leadership team in our student life department as a whole. So those pretty much anything our students do outside of the classroom, those would kind of fall into my specialty areas. I'm also an alum of Cottey, class of 2014. And then we've got Kenzie. She's one of our newer faces over in institutional advancement. So I'll kind of let her have a little intro moment.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kenzie. Just so everybody knows, I'll see you again at Georgia State Convention, which I'm really excited about. But until then, my title is Leadership Annual Giving Coordinator. I don't really do that because the girl who's really passionate about Cottey and wants to talk to everybody about Cottey isn't really a job title. And so you can just think of me as somebody who really, really loves Cottey and wants to tell everybody how much I love Cottey. I'm Cottey class of 2024, which I just graduated in May. I accidentally graduated a year early. So I'm doing this job for what would have been my senior year of college. I'm also a P.E.O in Missouri. Greetings from chapter ND. And yeah, so I'm employee, P.E.O, and alum. So I'm just Cottey girl all over the place. All right, so I'm going to give everybody an overview of Cottey. I'm not sure who's been there and who hasn't, so I'll just give a little overview. So this year we have 261 students enrolled. The student body represents 38 states and 16 countries. We have girls come from all over the place. And it's really fun. Cottey is super big on global awareness, which you'll learn about. And part of that is bringing the globe to us. And so you have a lot of girls from different cultures speaking different languages, and there's all types of activities to share those cultures, and it's really fun. I made friends from Panama and Mexico and France and Turkey and Spain and Middle Eastern countries and African countries. I just know people all over the place now. Our student to faculty ratio is 7-1. This is personally one of my favorite things about Cottey because you're kind of forced to do well academically, if you will, because there's no sitting in the back and sleeping. There's no skating under the radar. It's 7-1, but even some of my classes were 3-1 or 2-1. And so, you know, you had to do your reading because the professor could smell if you didn't do your reading. He would call on you and make sure everyone else knew you didn't do your reading. So it's very, very, very personal education. A lot of times professors will put their phone number on the board and say, call me and text me if you need me. I'm here for you. And so it's super, super personable, which was very helpful for me because I was a first-gen college student and I was really worried about falling behind or not knowing what I was doing. But the professors helped me out the whole entire time. There are 2 students currently enrolled from Georgia, and they're from Byron and Atlanta. 100% of students receive financial aid. Financial aid comes from all over the place, whether it be academics, athletics, P.E.O scholarships, need-based. They're just everywhere. For example, I was so grateful to pay $0 the entire time I was a student. And that's because I had so many scholarships stack up on each other that it equaled 0. And that happens to a lot of girls. So everybody gets some kind of aid, which is great because thanks to P.E.O, education is accessible, which is very important. There's also 14 bachelor degree offerings. I was a health and biomedical sciences major, and we have things like cadaver labs and really advanced science labs that you wouldn't expect at a small school, but we've got it. Some other really popular majors are education, business, criminology, psychology, theater, Yeah, those are the popular ones, but we have 14. What?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
disagree. Those are
Yeah.
I didn't put this on here, but you had an incredible experience. Do you want to talk a little bit about internships through Cottey?
Oh, yes. Also, almost every girl has to do an internship to graduate. And so my internship, I interned at the Clark County Coroner's Office in Las Vegas. And as morbid as it sounds, I really, really loved it. And before I did that internship, I was kind of doubting where I wanted to go. I was thinking maybe PA school. I wasn't really sure. I've always wanted to go to medical school, but I didn't really think I was fit for that. Anyway, so I did my internship and I fell in love with it. The doctors were amazing and they mentored me and they were like, you need to apply for medical school. We think you can do it. And so because of Cottey giving me an internship, I applied for med school and got into med school. So now I'll be going to med school. And so, yeah, the internships, we have very good quality internships. One of my best friends went to Spain and did an internship learning how to combat gender violence. So yeah, we have very, very high quality internships that people do every single year.
Beautiful. Okay. All right. So we're just going to dive in on kind of the constant offerings in student life. I've got slides, a few down where I'm going to talk to you about some of the new things, but these are just our constant offerings. And I'm going to refer to Kenzie on a few of these just on the like current student application as well. So we have our Student Wellness Center. That's definitely, I think, one of our biggest resources. And they have all sorts of offerings for our students. So on a peer-to-peer level, we have the Peer Empowerment Program. We call it PEP. And those who are part of PEP are extensively trained student extensions of our counseling office. So we do have one on-campus counselor who our students can see, but we also know that sometimes our students just feel more comfortable talking to their peers. So why not have some trained peers in place that can assist with any of those types of feelings? So those are some really great resources for our students, both on the receiving end, if you are using the Peer Listener program, the Peer Empowerment Program, to get to talk to someone, getting to kind of sort through that in a way that's more comfortable for you. But then it's also wonderful for our students who are leading that, who are the peer listeners of that Peer Empowerment Program. We do have a lot of psychology students who will jump in on that. It can be a great way to kind of get a feel for that, almost an internship without being an internship. Nice way to dip your toes in. It's also a great leadership opportunity. So there are some really wonderful things on both sides of that program. The Cottey Cupboard is a two-piece program. It is part food pantry and part general clothing closet. And both of those resources are there for any of our students for any reason. I think a lot of people can hear food pantry and automatically assume that it needs to be need-based, but that is not the case at all. They have a very active Instagram page. So my example is always, if they posted today that they have fresh blueberry muffins or some bananas out there today or something like that, and those just sound good to you, go ahead and dive in. Those resources are there just for being a student. You don't need to have any further qualification to be able to take advantage of those resources. Kenzie actually was sharing with me yesterday that this was a godsend for her, coming from Vegas, not quite being prepared for a Missouri winter and how back and forth it can be. I think you said it was your Vans, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know what Vans are, like little canvas shoes, but I only had those and I was walking around in snow in canvas shoes and somebody was like, why don't you go to the Cottey Cupboard and get some clothes? And I got beanies and scarves and mittens and coats and boots and I was able to get a whole winter's, be prepared for snow for free, which was just very fantastic because I was very, very underprepared. Yeah, I was a big fan of the Cottey Cupboard. I think like once I discovered the Cottey Cupboard, I never paid for toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant again. They have like really good snacks. They've got good clothes. When I got this job at Cottey, I needed professional clothes and I was like, shoot, I don't really want to pay for that. Went to the Cottey Cupboard, got professional clothes for free. So yeah, the Cottey Cupboard is the hookup, if you will. Yes.
Who stocks the Cottey Cupboard? Is that something like the community does around you?
No, actually, I guess a little bit. We do some drives around holiday time where we'll just put some boxes at like Walmart and Woods, the local grocery store. And some people will drop in some donations that way, but the huge majority come either from students, faculty, or staff, just Cottey people in general, who kind of donate. Students especially, we've got a whole system at the end of the year during move out that anything you want to leave for the cupboard, you leave it in these specific places and we'll make sure they get collected. So that's where a huge majority comes from. We do also have some like families or PEOs or whoever might send it in, and that's all great too. They keep a pretty good stash. It is always fully stocked. Like those hangers are hardly moving around in there, because they also just keep a back stock. So they'll keep like those winter clothes and things like that. They make sure that they have something out in every size, so that way it's accessible for people. And then if those hangers are getting a little too tight in there, they'll hold on to the rest and kind of just restock as things go out. So there is never any such thing as too much. If you're trying to clean out a closet, think about the wellness center. They'll certainly take it. Moving right down that same column here, getting into COURT, which is what that acronym, we just call it COURT, but it is the Cottey Outreach and Response Team. This one is another really great example of Cottey being a small institution and the strengths that come with that. So the idea behind COURT is that any member of faculty or staff or our resident assistants have access to this system. We call them concern notices. So they can turn in a concern notice for any student for any type of concern. So they've got all sorts of categories that they can choose from on what it would most relevantly fall under. So that way we can make sure that the discussion is being routed to the right place and at the right severity. But from there, we have a really specific team of individuals to make sure that we have access around campus to all resources. And we talk through what these students are dealing with. So you could turn in a concern notice to say, you know, Kenzie was out in her suite all year long, and all of a sudden these last 3 weeks, I haven't seen her in her suite on rounds at all. On its own, that's probably not something that I want to go bother her over. Maybe she is just really cracking down before finals week, spending more time in her room trying to study. Maybe she's made a friend in another hall and she's hanging out in suites. It's just not this one anymore. So there are those things that if I'm hopping on them right away to be like, hey, Kenzie, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Then she's not going to talk to me anymore by the time it is something bigger. But with COURT, I can just let someone know that that one small thing is happening and we can kind of leave it at that. It's documented. People who need to know. And then if the dining hall also notices that Kenzie hasn't come in a few weeks, and then one of her professors notices that Kenzie's quizzes have been consistently lower grades for the last couple of weeks. Now we have a larger picture and it's clearer that like, no, we do want to touch base with Kenzie and see what's going on, make sure we can get her all the right resources she needs to get through whatever is going on in her life. So that's COURT, really great system for everyone involved. Helps us get a really good holistic picture of our students and what they're dealing with. And then the last thing in the Wellness Center is that they have doctor's hours. I did reference earlier that we have an on-campus mental health counselor who is available, but we also have physical health covered as well. We do have local physicians come to campus for an hour each day. So that is a nice resource for our students because when they're seen in the Wellness Center, then they don't need to worry about insurance approval, how often they're seeing the doctor, all of that sort of stuff. They can just worry about feeling better. So that is always a big one for us. This center one, I don't have a whole bunch to say. I think they're a little bit self-explanatory, but I'll run through some of the stuff that falls under student life. So athletics is under us. There are obviously some wonderful things happening there. You'll hear lots from Kenzie, I'm sure, over the next few months, getting into May and all that, about athletics and the wonderful things that they're doing on campus. They are one of our quickest growing things on campus. So you'll hear a little bit more about them in my What's New as well. Dining services, they are constantly providing incredible food to our students, PEOs, alums, anyone on campus is always leaving very well fed and happy. We have Cottey Cash, which I will have a few more resources about Cottey Cash for you a little bit later on, but just a quick definition. It is essentially a super universal Cottey gift card. Our students can use it if they have guests in the dining hall. They can use it to pay for airport shuttles during winter break. It can be used at our little cafe in town. Oh, there we go. Not in town, on campus. There's some Cottey Cash in the flesh. So Cottey Cash gets sent in by families, by PEOs, and then that gets distributed to our students through our student life office. So it's really wonderful because it brings them into our space so we can get that face-to-face touch point with our students, but then they also get something very exciting out of it, and it makes its way to the spirit shop very quickly usually. All of our commuter students get their mail through our office, again, kind of building in that touch point so we can have that face-to-face interaction with a student who's not residential and isn't necessarily interacting with our staff on a daily basis the same way a residential student might be. Campus activities and clubs and organizations, they really go together. But those are just bringing the fun to campus. That is the life of the party there. We've got an incredible person in charge of that, Dakota Johnston. Got to meet a few people, including Kathleen, during seminar as well. So he is over there heading up campus activities and those clubs and organizations, just making sure we're bringing lots of fun activities to campus. Our student government is involved in all sorts of student advocacy. They have an anonymous suggestion box as well. So if our students have things that they want to bring up as ideas, but they're maybe a little bit nervous to be the person tied to it, they can always put it in anonymously with our student government and still see where that initiative could go. With thank you notes, we have a big old drawer full of them in our office that we are always trying to push to our students to make sure that they're getting thank you notes out to P.E.Os and even parents and things when they're getting care packages and Cottey cash and all of that. So we keep a drawer very well stocked full of stationery for them to use. I'm going to skip for just a second because I'm going to have you maybe talk a little bit about Sweet Life. Does that sound okay?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So then Shelley Club is just our little cafe on campus. They've got all sorts of paninis, burgers, milkshakes, and they just started serving Starbucks coffee. Spoiler alert, because I will talk about that again on what's new, but I'm just so excited for coffee. And then the very last thing we do is just a bunch of resource referrals. We have a lot of really wonderful services under our office specifically, and that's great. But sometimes what they're needing is assistance with tutoring, or they're needing some further scholarship information or things like that. So if we're not the ones to help, we are the ones to help get you to the right person. So I'm going to jump back though to that middle of that last column for Sweet Life and RAs, and I'm going to pop it over to Kenzie to talk a little bit about that experience.
I love Sweet Life. I love it so much. Whenever you ask somebody like their favorite thing about Cottey, usually Sweet Life is up there, because to me it's just kind of like having a sleepover with your besties every single day, and it's where you live. Like you live in a permanent slumber party, and where like your suite kind of becomes a part of your identity. And so it's something that connects us through generations. So when you meet a Cottey grad that graduated 30 years ago, it's always, oh, what suite did you live in? And also each suite is represented by a P.E.O chapter or a state chapter. And so I lived in the Colorado suite. So I was spoiled by the Colorado ladies. And every suite has a TV. So we would play Just Dance, if you guys know what Just Dance is. We would do karaoke. We would watch movies together. We would watch TV every night. It's just a hangout all the time. The great thing too is that we're so spoiled. It's cleaned for us. So like a cleaning lady will come in every day and clean the shower, clean the sinks, vacuum, clean the kitchen. And so that's just fantastic. Like toilet paper is provided. You don't have to get your own toilet paper. The only things that you really have to get for the common area are dish soap, soap for the bathroom, and paper towels. So it's really the only three things that aren't provided for us.
And there are even years that student government will supply those.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's basically what I'm trying to say is we're totally spoiled. We live in just such a cool place. And I remember like there was a couple times where all of my suite mates would pull our mattresses out and just all sleep together somewhere. There's a quote that I really love to say that people say Cottey isn't where you go to meet your groom, Cottey's where you go to meet your bridesmaids. And I think Sweet Life is where that happens, because a lot of the girls who I just got stuck in a random suite with are my best friends for life. So suites are one of the most awesome thing about Cottey. You can imagine like when we're all getting ready for something together, we're all in the bathroom getting ready, and it just like what I pictured a movie girl slumber party, that's what it's like every single day. So yeah, I love Sweet Life. And then you can talk about RAs if you'd like.
So our RAs are
question for Kenzie. How are you adjusting to cleaning your own bathroom and buying your own toilet paper?
I miss the cleaning ladies, and the cleaning ladies are really cool too. So they'll come every day and like just be cool and friendly and fun. And I miss just somebody cleaning my bathroom for me. And so yeah, I definitely miss that a lot. And also cooking my own meals. Like the dining hall, I was a big fan of the dining hall. I was down there every day, 3 times a day, 6 plates. Like I was spoiled having my room cleaned for me, my meals cooked for me. Yeah, life post Cottey is, it's lost its color compared to Cottey College.
You're roughing it.
I know. Okay.
With the RAs, they are there, of course, for the safety and general function of the building. So that piece is certainly present. What I hope our students get to see much more, though, is the programming and the familiarity. We have requirements for our resident assistants to go to all sorts of events across campus. So that way our athletes are seeing them at athletic events. And our all of our students are seeing them engaged in our student activities and things like that. Just making sure that they're a familiar face, so that way they are a more comfortable face when you're dealing with something that you really need to talk to someone you already know. And trying to establish that rapport while you're dealing with something not so great isn't a really effective method. So we try to get them out there, get them familiar. They host some of their own fun events, and then they attend all sorts of other ones around campus too. So they're a great group. All right, the Wellness Center, we touched on quite a bit of this, but here's a chance to kind of see some of it. So all the way over on the left, that is our doctor's offices. We've got 2 offices like that. So when they're seeing those physicians, it's just like going out into the community and seeing a physician at their clinic. We've got all the same setup there in the Wellness Center. Those 2 center pictures are the food portion of the Cottey cupboard. We do have a refrigerated portion, as well as the non-perishables that just go into a few different cabinets. These pictures don't really show you how big it is. The whole cabinet portion is its own room. And then the refrigerated piece, we have a full-size refrigerator that's dedicated to nothing but food for our students to take if they would like it. And then that last piece there is that stuffed to the brim closet that I was talking about earlier. These next few slides are just a bunch of different pictures. So up there in that top left, we did a little room decorating contest. So it's just a good feel for what a typical student room looks like, but while they're at their best, since they were competing. Those 2 upper right are a good example of some traditions. So Cottey is really, really known for our traditions. We've got our duck jackets all over the place. So this is from our first tradition of the year called Step Sing. So all of those first year students are there on the front steps of Main Hall, all the way on the right. And then that inner one on the upper right is our upperclassmen students in their duck jackets getting ready to tell the duck story and sing some songs and all of that sort of stuff. So traditions are really, really huge at Cottey. So I wanted to make sure that I threw that in here. And then the bottom 2 rows of this are just some of our campus activities. So that bottom center, that is actually our theater production. Sweeney Todd was our show this year. Absolutely massive show, and they did a killer job with it, no pun intended. It was so amazing. We've got some really, really talented students, so that was exciting to get to see. We've got some of our resident assistants there on the bottom right, and all the rest of those are just some of our student, well, I guess that dead center one is a performer. That's a band that we brought in. He was a pretty big name, the biggest name we've ever had at Cottey. His name is Knox, but he performed at Lollapalooza this year. So he was at some of the big name festivals, so our students were pretty excited. They got to do a little meet and greet with him. And then that bottom left is just some students having a good time. We'll go on to some more pictures. We've got another performer meet and greet up on that left side. And then these are just some of our student groups. So the peer listeners with that peer empowerment program, they are there in the center. Just left of them is our Shelley Club staff. We've got some students at Real Life Mario Kart is that bottom one there. They got to, Dakota set up a really nice little Mario Kart route through campus. And then our students got to get on these giant big wheels and go do some Mario Kart. So that one was a ton of fun. And that one, you could hear them cackling from my office across campus. They were having a great time with it. That top one there, I'm actually going to defer to Kenzie. The rest of these are just some fun things to look at, students having a good time. So I'm going to defer to Kenzie on this top one because this is from our international experience. Kenzie and I, because you did Ireland as well, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kenzie and I are both in this giant mass of people here in that top row, but I was there as staff. So I'm going to defer to Kenzie on the actual experience.
In case you don't know, when you're a Cottey girl in your 3rd year, you get essentially a free trip somewhere that isn't America. You the hotel is provided, a lot of the meals are provided, a lot of the activities are provided, flight is provided. And the cool thing is like you're going, so I went to Dublin, Ireland. You're going to Ireland with all of your built-in best friends, and it's almost free. Where in the world can you do that? Probably only Cottey. And the great thing about it is before you go, you take a class that's called Step into the World, where you learn about the culture, the food, the weather, traveling, all the things before you go, which was really helpful because a lot of us have never traveled internationally before. And like, personally, I would have never thought to bring a different outlet for the wall and things like that. And so luckily there was a class to kind of teach me how to travel before I did. And once we were there, I had the time of my life. I'm wearing the ring I got in Ireland.
Me too. Oh, wait, that's so funny.
Me and Angie got these. But anyways, in Ireland, we got to go to a farm where we made our own bread and danced and met farm animals and jumped in a bog. And then like everybody has dinner together. We did a dinner where there was live performers and the live performers pulled Cottey girls up on the stage to dance. You do different, so you can choose also your own module, so it's a little personalized of what you want to do and what you want to see. But yeah, Ireland was the time of my life. And then I also got to do what's called an extension trip. So what a lot of girls do is while you're already there for the second week of spring break, they'll go somewhere else since it's cheaper to do that since you're already there. But Cottey provided a extension trip through Cottey, which I did, where we went to Belfast, Northern Ireland, and Edinburgh, Scotland. So basically what I'm trying to get at is I did 2 weeks in Europe for under $2,000, which is just unheard of, and had the time of my life. It was also my birthday, so it was very, very, very fun. And if you ask girls, you know, what made you come to Cottey? It's almost always the international experience. This year they're going to Athens, Greece. Next year they're going to Prague and Munich. The year before me, they went to Austria. So yeah, we're just all over the place. I was talking about global awareness. They bring the globe to you and they put you out somewhere in the globe. I always thought, you know, Ireland can't be that different. It's just Ireland. And then I went and was like, wow, it's so different. And yeah, I miss Ireland all the time. And I actually made friends in Ireland that still send me postcards all the time. So yeah, Ireland, 5 stars.
Well, and if you think that trip sounds amazing and you're like, what the heck, Cottey students have it made and I want to do that too. We do offer a Friends of Cottey trip to whatever our international destination is a little bit after. So right now the signups are open to go to Athens. If you're just dying to get to Greece with Cottey, they're going to take our students in March, and then they are taking any friends of the college who sign up in September of next year to Greece on the same trip that our students take. So those opportunities go far beyond our students as well.
Kenzie, how much did you like Edinburgh, Scotland?
What?
How much did you like Edinburgh, Scotland?
I loved it. I'm Scottish, and so I was really excited to go and, you know, see my heritage. And I got so many souvenirs. It's not even funny. Like it is just ridiculous. But I felt like I was in Harry Potter in real life. It was so cool. We got to see the castles, do shopping on the Royal Mile. It was just so much fun. I miss it every single day.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I am gonna speed run for just a quick second. I do have an appointment here in Kansas City, so I am gonna leave you in Kenzie's very capable hands, but I'm gonna run through 2 more slides with you really quick, and then Kenzie can go back to hit anything on a higher level. So here are some things that are new in student life, kind of segueing off of all that incredible info about Ireland. We do have Athens coming up in March, so that is a big happening currently in student life. We also, as I referenced earlier, have some great things going in athletics. So this year we are having our inaugural season for our cheer team, our dance team, and our bowling team. Bowling has not officially started everything yet, so all we've got for that team right now is headshots. So please enjoy Miss Danny Beauregard here. That 3rd picture down in athletics over there. And then down at the bottom, you'll notice that big archery target too. We are currently in our recruitment year for archery. So we have Coach Sarah Trout with us. She is doing incredible things to get a team built and ready to go for next year. They will be starting competition in the fall. So we're very, very excited about that. Right there, dead center, we have got the Sophia Gymnasium. We are very, very fortunate to get to work with some really incredible donors. But Sophia here, she is right at the top of the list. She's done some incredible things for Cottey. If you have gotten to visit Cottey and you've seen that beautiful parlor over in P.E.O Hall, that is all courtesy of Sophia and her family. And then she's done some really wonderful things for athletics over the past year. So getting to have a little celebration over her was really, really exciting earlier this year with all of our students. Down there at the bottom, we've got that Starbucks cup. I just couldn't contain myself, and I told you already, but we are serving Starbucks coffee in our Shelley Club now, so that's been very exciting. And then these 4 pictures over here on the right side, those top 2 with those yellow bags, those are our students picking up their finals week care packages. If you pay attention to Cottey on Facebook, then you've probably seen that ongoing project over the past few weeks. But that has been absolutely phenomenal. This was one of our most successful years in the last 25 years. I say that because looking at just our records, they only go back 25 years on this project, though the project itself goes back more like 32 years. But in the last 25 that we have records for this year, we sold the most care packages we have ever sold. And for the first time in those 25 years, we were able to give a care package to every single student at Cottey College. So that was absolutely incredible. If you played any part in getting a package to a student this semester, we really, really appreciate it. Then down there at the bottom is hanging of the greens. We have a really wonderful formal dinner. We also get to hang the literal greens around campus. We go caroling together to hang up wreaths made by all of our organizations. So that's a really fun holiday celebration that we just wrapped up this past weekend. And then some ways to collaborate with student life. Kenzie will also have a few for you on how you can collaborate with Cottey as a whole. And I will send this presentation as well as some flyers for each of these initiatives over to Kathleen to share out however necessary. So there will be some more written info coming about all of this as well. So don't feel like you need to be taking down these phone numbers or anything. But with thank you notes, just kind of referencing again that we do have a whole drawer of stationery that we offer out to our students. We are always doing everything we can to encourage our students to write thank you notes to you. And just know that we are putting our best effort into that, but we are herding cats on this one. And one thing that we have learned can help is that our students are much more likely to go the electronic route rather than the hard paper route. While we don't necessarily love that and we still encourage them to get that paper note out there, if you are willing to share your email or your phone number with the students, just let us know that when you're ordering like Cottey Cash or a finals week care package. And we put a little slip that gives information about who sent them, whatever support they're being sent. And if there's any like do great on your finals type of message or anything like that to put with it, that's on their slip too. But then it also tells them how to contact you. So sometimes that is just your chapter letters. So that way they know what chapter to write a thank you note to. But if you're willing to have your email or your phone number listed on there, let us know and we'll make sure that gets listed. Cottey Cash talked about earlier. Kenzie even showed you that physical copy of it, but if you are wanting to send some of that Cottey Cash into our students, we do have an online form, or you can call into Student Life and talk to Sean West. She will help you out with all of that. She is an absolute wealth of knowledge on pretty much all things Cottey too. So she can help with a million things. Finals week care packages. That was that last thing with those yellow bags on that last slide. They are closed for this semester as we are officially getting into finals week. But they do open for the spring semester giveaways starting February 1st, and those will run through April 23rd. We will get some information out on Facebook again. I will also send the flyer for this to Kathleen in the things that I share post presentation. So there'll be lots of ways to order there if that is an interest to you. And then the last one is not technically through us at all. It's actually through Chapter DW in Nevada. But they make cakes for Cottey, and I will send the order form for that as well. But there's a woman in their chapter, her name is Cindy. She hand bakes these cakes for our students, and then she drops them off She's probably in our office at least 4 or 5 times a week. So we keep Cindy very, very busy, but our Cottey students are very, very happy with all their cakes and cupcakes. And they go to sometimes just an individual student for like a birthday or an accomplishment that they might be having. Sometimes they go to a suite to say like, Happy Valentine's Day, enjoy some cupcakes all together. So whatever you feel so moved to support our students with, they are just absolutely tickled with all of it. And with that, I am going to hop away, but you are in far more than capable hands with Kenzie here. And if you need anything at all, feel free to give me a call and I'm happy to help with any questions.
Okay.
Thanks,
Drive
Megan.
safe to your appointment.
Hey guys.
Okay, now you're stuck with me. All right. I am very passionate about Cottey, so I'm going to try not to talk too much. But one thing I want to say about student life that I think is really cool is that, one, I thought that I wouldn't like going to an all-girls school. It ended up being my favorite thing in this entire world. And a big reason of that is like, for example, she didn't really talk about it, but a lot of the events that we do that are popular are late night breakfast where there's raffles and we eat breakfast together, and Fun Friday where they turn the gym into a bouncy houses, and Hungry Hippo, but you're the hippo, and free cotton candy and free lemonade, and there's bingo nights like every 2 weeks. And the great thing about those things is that they're really fun, but also I feel like girls can just have fun and be themselves. It's not like, oh, I'm too cool to jump on the bouncy house because there's boys watching. There's none of that because there are no boys watching. It's just your friends. It's just girls. And so whenever there are events, everyone's just there having a great time with each other. It's very girlhood. I didn't really expect it to be like that, but it totally was. Let's see. The Student Wellness Center, I just want to say that the doctor on campus is amazing. Anyone who's been to college or had kids in college knows that colleges are brewing grounds for some nasty sickness. And when one girl gets sick, we all get sick. And so having that doctor right on campus is amazing, especially because a lot of us come from, for example, I come from Vegas. I don't really know what trees and grass are. So when I came to Missouri and had to, take in the flora and fauna, my body shut down with these crazy allergies that I was just able to go pop on over to the wellness center and get some medicine, and I felt all better, which was convenient and awesome. She talked about all of that. She talked about this is fun, or this is late night breakfast. So the late night breakfast is at the end of every semester. What everyone does is that you line up and as you go in, you get raffle tickets. And then when you go in, there's all these bags set up for TVs and computers and headphones and cameras and just really crazy cool stuff. And you go and put your little raffle tickets in, you eat breakfast, you play games, and then there's a raffle, obviously. My freshman year, I won a Polaroid camera, and I still use it to this day. But yeah, student life, I'll be honest, the town that Cottey is kind of small, a little boring, if you will. But they do a great job of entertaining you at Cottey. I never once got bored. There was always something to do. And in case you get a little stir crazy, they do road trips to St. Louis and Kansas City and Branson, Missouri, so that people can get out even if they don't have a car. Especially these girls coming from Paris, France, and Turkey and Spain. They get to go see other places and they don't have a car. So I think that is super important. But she talked about the performers. The performers that Cottey has blow my mind a little bit. My freshman year, they had a mind reader come, and still to this day, it freaks me out to think about it because he was so good. And I'm from Vegas, so I know what a good show looks like. It was really good. It was really good. But yeah, there's constantly just giveaways and activities, and you'll just never be bored. There's cake decorating competitions and Lego building competitions and paint nights, and we're kind of spoiled at Cottey. Let's see. She talked about all of this. Now I'll tell you from the employee point of view how you can collaborate with Cottey, because a lot of the times I'll go to a P.E.O chapter and I'll tell them all about Cottey, and they're like, this is awesome. Cottey's great. What does that have to do with me? What do I do now? So this is what I'm here to tell you, what you can do now. Just because a lot of people aren't always clear on this, adopting a student goes through your state chapter. That's not us. But you can spoil sweets and students whenever you want. You don't have to technically adopt a student to help a girl out. I was getting cards and gift cards from all over the country while I was at Cottey. And let me tell you, it's really important because I got quite homesick towards the beginning. And these PEOs were sending me cards of, you can do it, we believe in you, we're watching you. And I was like, I have to do this because these PEOs are supporting me. So that really helped me get through. Anytime I was doubting myself, I was like, got to get through because the PEOs are behind me and I can't let them down. But the second thing I want to talk about is our role as PEOs in referring students. So there's kind of a joke that in the entire history of Cottey, there's a huge percentage of girls that go visit Cottey just to humor a PEO. Oh, my aunt's a PEO. She told me to check out Cottey, whatever. They roll up and they end up going to Cottey. So there's just a lot of girls do that. So a big thing is getting girls to visit Cottey. I always say it's one of those things you have to see to believe. I can sit here and tell you all day long how amazing it is, but you have to be there to really feel it. And so if a girl visits, they get recurring scholarship just for visiting. I think it's $2,500. I hope I'm not wrong. Oh, it's $1,500. So you get a $1,500 renewable scholarship just for visiting. And as a PEO, if you refer a girl, she automatically gets $10,000 in scholarships. So if you refer a girl and she visits, that's automatically $11,500 in scholarships. So you make a huge impact in referring students. So I've come up with 3 categories, and all of you will fit into one of these 3 categories, I think. So the first category is, you know, girls who are going to college and you do feel comfortable talking to them. Awesome. Cottey provides all the materials in this world that you'll ever need. If you go to cottey.edu/PEO, they have videos, presentations, fact sheets, pictures, anything you could need, it's there for you. And you can also request materials from Cottey. So we'll send you flyers and whatnot. So you have everything that you need. And encourage them to visit. I promise it makes a really big difference. I think the percent is like 86% of girls who visit Cottey undecided end up going to Cottey. So I can't emphasize enough how important that is. And Cottey will help pay for your lodging if you're more than 100 miles away, which you guys are because you're in Georgia. So the second thing is, you know a girl or you know girls, but you don't really feel comfortable talking to them about Cottey or approaching them. Totally fine. There's forums on the Cottey website where you can put their information in and Cottey will do all the work for you. And they'll contact them and they'll send them the stuff for you and all of that good stuff. The third category is, you don't know any girls, but you still want to help. And that's fine. You can contribute to the visit fund. So the visit funds are helping girls come, and it helps pay for their lodging. It helps pay for their journey. It helps pay to get girls to visit. And so that makes a big difference as well. I guess the fourth category is, you don't know any girls and you don't want to help, which I hope isn't true. Please tell me that's not true. But hopefully you fill it into one of those other 3 and you can definitely help. You'll hear about this a lot more later, but it was PEO that got me to Cottey. And it was PEO that got most of my friends to Cottey. Because frankly, I was like, an all-girls school in the middle of Missouri? Yeah, right. I'm not going there. That sounds crazy. And PEOs helped me out and helped me get there. And I visited and was like, I need to go here so badly. So you make a really, really big difference. Another thing is, like, if you're just feeling super ambitious, there are all kinds of ways that you can help on a bigger scale, whether it be scholarships, endowments, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But another thing I want to say is that Cottey puts on a lot of events for you guys. One of my favorites is Vacation College. So if you're sitting here thinking, wow, I kind of want to be a Cottey girl for a week, that sounds so good. Guess what? We have that. You can come be a Cottey girl for a week. You come and you stay in the dorms and you take classes and you eat the food and you play games. So if you ever want to be a Cottey girl, we have that for you. Okay, I think I'm good here. Do you guys have any questions in this whole world? I love talking about Cottey, and so ask all the questions in the world.
Kenzie, I have a question for you. When
Yes.
did you become a PEO?
I became a PEO in February.
Okay.
Yeah. I got invited by a chapter in Nevada because my chapter is a lot of Cottey professors and staff and employees, and so my chapter is kind of the pipeline, if you will, from Cottey Girl to PEO. And so, yeah, I became a PEO in February.
Do you have PEOs in your family?
No, none of my family members know what PEO is, or I've kind of tried to explain it to them, but they kind of think it's a little scary. And I think now that I'm a PEO, I'm trying to get my little sister who turns 18 in January to become a PEO. But yeah, I'm the first one, and I'm hoping not to be the last one. I already got my boyfriend's aunt to become a PEO, so I'm already spreading the gospel of PEO.
That's wonderful. Does anyone else have any other Cottey questions for Kenzie? I know I have a lot more questions for her personally, but we will be seeing her in May in Peachtree City at our convention, and we'll be able to talk her ear off there as well.
I don't have any questions, but this has just been so exciting. I want to go to Cottey now. I just want to get young and go back to school. I may go
Oh,
to
good. That's always the
college
goal.
just to tap
I
into
love
it.
that.
Thank you so
I
much
love
for
that.
your enthusiasm and just it just feels real sincere and taking the time to explain it all with us. So
Good. I'm glad. I love that, like, as a PEO, you own a college. I can't emphasize enough. Because PEO, you own Cottey. I own Cottey. You own Cottey. We all own Cottey. And so this isn't just some random college. You own it. So you gotta love it because you own it, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for everyone that is joining us today, but also
Thank you.
A shout out to everyone who's going to be watching this on the recorded version, which will be on the website as well. And thank you, Kenzie, for taking time out of your day, and we'll send gratitude to Meghan as well. And we look forward to meeting you in person in May.
I'm so excited. If you guys need me until then, or just want to talk to me or have questions or whatever, you can text. My number is 702-576-5364. Text me, call me whenever you want, email me whenever you want. I'm here to help you however you need. So I'm your girl if you need anything until May and beyond.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you again so much. And thank you everyone else for joining. Have a great week.
You too. Right. Bye.